Hello, hello, hello. It's me, Dr. Catherine Toomer, and this is the Dr. Toomer Talks Show on blackdoctor.org and on my YouTube channel and Facebook page as well. And I am, again, Dr. Catherine Toomer. I'm a family medicine and community health physician, and I'm the founder of Total Weight Care Institute. And I talk about all things health, wellness, and weight care related. And today is going to be no different. So, um, I wanted to, as anyone who's listened to me talk knows, I talk a lot about stress and I talk a lot about treatment. And I also talk a lot about biopsychosocial. And as the reason why this is so important is because unless we address all the reasons, biopsychosocial reasons for what the way something is, we actually miss quite a bit. Or we just half treat or we half address things. And so when you think as human beings, we are a conglomerate of biology and we have psychology and our sociology, and they're all come together, they interface, they interact, and we are part of all of that. And so what I wanted to talk about today was the fact that I wanted to lay the groundwork using that because not all weight care, weight loss is in pounds. Sometimes there are other things we need to lose in order to be healthy. And in fact, sometimes we don't even need to lose weight in the form of pounds to be healthy. Um, I do talk a lot about weight loss because that's what my expertise is, but I often help people lose the things in life that are weighing them down. So the weight that I help people lose or the weight that people need to lose isn't always in pounds, or as I like to say, it's not always pounds in their body, it could be the pounds in somebody else they need to get rid of. But that's a story for another day. But without thinking about this, though, if we don't take the time to think about all the things that contribute to our condition, all the things that lend themselves to where we are, all the things that we need to change in order to get out of a situation where we want to feel a certain way, then it's sort of like standing on a scale, trying to lose weight, and someone standing behind you with their foot on it, pressing down. And you're reading the number and you keep saying to yourself, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, but my weight isn't budging. Mainly because what you're doing isn't what's contributing to your weight gain. It's not what's contributing to your health issues. And so, without addressing all the things that are contributing, it's as if someone's got their foot on the scale because what you're measuring will never change because what you're addressing is not the cause of what the issues are. So, a lot of times, what people might call these are, or the changes that we have that are not in pounds on a scale, is non scale victories. There really is no such thing. And I'm going to say this again, there is no such thing as a non scale victory. The reason I say this is because it's not the any victory is um can be measured on a scale. It just doesn't have to be a scale that we measure pounds on. If we measure that use a scale that measures in some other measurement other than pounds, then all victories are victories. And they're just scale victories using a different type of scale. And so and sometimes, like for example, you're in a health process. You may be, might be a weight care process or a weight loss process, and your pounds haven't changed. You stand on a scale and your pounds haven't changed. However, you get your blood pressure checked and your blood pressure has come down, or you've halved your blood pressure medication that you've needed to be on, or your blood sugars that used to be out of control are no longer out of control. Those are a weight loss that's not in pounds because you've lost something. You've lost the weight of that health burden. You've lost all the things that having chronic disease would have caused that are no longer causing those things anymore. And so that is weight loss. It just doesn't show up on a pound. I mean, show up as pounds on a scale. Joint pain is another. Every pound we lose, it takes 5 pounds off our weight bearing joints. That's our ankles, our knees, and our hips, and our lower back. So if you're having knee pain, ankle pain, foot pain, plantar fasciitis, hip pain, lower back, losing weight in pounds will also take weight off those joints. And so even if you're doing things that reduce your inflammation, the pain in those joints may go away, but the pounds may not change on a scale. So that's weight loss because it's the weight of pain. Pain is very heavy, as anyone can tell you who's been in chronic pain. Chronic pain is heavy. And when you lose it, you are much lighter, no matter what a scale says. And so and so I talked about biopsychosocial. So that's probably the biology with some good examples. So what about psychology? Now, um, you hear me talk about stress a lot because stress is probably one of the most insidious things that happens in our lives that really does adversely affect our health. And if we do not address our stress and our stress levels, then our health journey is never complete. And so part of that stress that causes stressors are, self-incrimination, the self-talk. Um, and so losing that is again losing a burden that is weighing you down. It may not mean pounds on a scale, although it usually translates to losing pounds on a scale as well. But that is hugely weighted activity that once it's lost, you feel lighter. And the loss and I'm looking at my notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything this week. So, like a loss of insecurity, how much weight does that hold? What about gaining confidence? How much weight does that add? Because that's also very weighty, very heavy, and very important. And so, um, the fear of failing or the fear of success are also things that are psychologically weighty that when we lose them, we lose weight. It may not show up on a scale. However, if you are in a weight care process, addressing your psychological issues that may be contributing to weight gain will ultimately help with weight loss. But that weight loss initially may not show up on a scale. It won't show up on the pound scale, but it will show up on other scales. And then socially, do your relationships serve you? Is that weight in another person that you need to lose in order to be healthy, psychologically and physically healthy? Because sometimes that's what it is. The weight that you need to lose is in the body of somebody else, not yours. And I'm going to repeat that again. Sometimes the weight we need to lose is in the body of somebody else. And especially if that person is someone who makes us feel bad for whatever reason, who disrupts our process for whatever reason, or who is a saboteur, using, often using things that aren't quite obvious, baking your favorite cakes and cookies, knowing that you're trying to lose weight, or things that you know are triggers and creating situations that trigger you psychologically so you're under stress and then that snowballs into other things. I actually had a friend once well, a former friend who told me that we couldn't be friends because for no fault of my own, but simply because my life represented what she wanted and being around me made her feel horrible. And so she could no longer be around me because she had difficulty, because she often compared her life to mine. Obviously, I couldn't do anything about that, And I appreciated her bravery. I appreciated her honesty. And I would have much rather her remove herself from my life than try to sabotage it. And she did, and she removed herself. Um, because she said my life was what she wanted and she didn't think she could have it. And so there was nothing I could do. And that sometimes is what happens. You have to remove people from your life for no fault of theirs. It could just simply be that they're not serving you and they make you feel a certain way. And so you no longer can be around them. So when you think of things on a scale, weight on a scale that isn't always in pounds, you also have to think about how things are measured. We often use scales to say whether we're successful in our process or not. However, there are lots of things that can't be measured in ways that we may think. So if someone hands you a small gift, it's very easy to say this gift is really small. And if all you want is a large gift, you won't appreciate that gift even if it's a diamond because it's not the size that your expectations of what a gift should be are skewed. And that's the same with weight loss journey. If your expectations are such that you cannot see the things around you that are actually work to your benefit. If you are able to see the weight loss, that's not always pounds on a scale, the biological weight loss that in the form of like losing pain, losing inflammation, losing high blood pressure, losing headaches, um, or psychologically losing insecurity, losing fear, losing anger, or socially losing people who are toxic in your life or losing things that are not serving you, then those are weight losses that will not show up on a scale initially. They may eventually, because it when you remove something, there's often something else that can take its place. But when it comes to weight loss, like I said, not all weight that you need to lose is in pounds. And so I'm going to take some questions now, and I'm going to read some of the comments. Um, Thank you, Chris, for always being very supportive. Jennifer, yes, I know what you're referring to, something I said earlier. And thank you for tagging people. Yes, Angela, anyone who, I should say this right at the beginning. So if you're, say hello. And if you are watching later, put hashtag replay. And Jennifer says, it's really hard. I've been on Wegovy for almost 10 weeks and I've only lost 11 pounds. I should be starting 1 milligram this week. I also have fibromyalgia and I haven't noticed any difference in pain for anything. I'm only willing to give it another few weeks. Okay. Well, for um, one of the things that I talk about is self-sabotage. Your weight loss is actually quite normal and is ideal. 1 to 2 pounds a week. So again, your measuring stick for your weight loss is I wouldn't say weight isn't what it should be, but measure your weight loss. Your expectations are maybe a little you're maybe be unrealistic because 11 pounds in 10 weeks is absolutely um, a lot. Think of it as the opposite. If you gained 11 pounds in 10 weeks, you'd be freaking out. So losing 11 pounds in 10 weeks is actually, quite good. Fibromyalgia is one of those things where, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Definitely carbohydrates can trigger. There are inflammatory markers that you can measure when you're on a GLP-1. If you're on Wegovy, 1 milligram, you haven't reached there yet. You're on less than half the dose, the maximum dose. So patience, 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 patience. Most of us did not get to the point where we needed the medication in 10 weeks, 20 weeks, even a year. So give yourself time and give yourself grace to um, get to where your goal is, in the same slow manner in which you got there. Um, so Jennifer said you've given up 90% of the food that you ate. I mean, unless you were overeating or you're eating badly, sometimes undereating actually slows everything down because it slows down your metabolism. So the best thing to do is just focus on the things you can eat instead of avoiding the things you can. Um, because food is a self-care mechanism. You should enjoy your food, and you just need to eat what in moderation, more protein than carbohydrates, and um, enough times in the day so you get all your calories and you maintain your metabolism. Um, the question is there a limit to how much weight you can lose on Manjaro? A type 2 diabetic and not losing any more weight. I've been on Manjaro for 20 months. It really just depends. It's not so much is there a limit to how much you can lose on Manjaro, it's how much can you lose given your metabolic process. So, if there is the medication can only do so much when it comes to weight loss. So if it's controlling your diabetes, it's only going to afford weight loss that your diabetes caused. As soon as your diabetes is corrected, there has to be other things that need to happen if, further weight loss or further size loss, I should say, or fat loss is something that's desired. And that would require then adding another metabolic control mechanism like building muscle. And so that way the medication and the muscle works together to give you the results you want, assuming that your aim is to get to a healthy place where your body can be healthy, your weight is healthy, and your metabolic processes are healthy. Um, Someone said, "Thank you, doctor. Thanks for your thought-provoking insight. Thank you for listening." Um, Jennifer says, "I have changed my mindset to being healthy. I am now on no medications for high blood pressure." Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is truly amazing. High blood pressure, in combination with other things, is one of those chronic diseases that affects every single inch of our body because it affects our blood vessels and our blood vessels go everywhere. So anytime you control your blood pressure, you have basically told the rest, I mean, you just changed everything that your body is now doing. You've improved every single function in your body because that's what high blood pressure does. It affects every single function of your body. Because think about it, how do we function by getting blood to those areas? Blood pressure, blood vessels. That is wonderful. That is really amazing. You should really pat yourself on the back because that's pretty amazing. Um, the question is it true that you are more likely to keep weight off if you lose it slowly because your body doesn't go into starvation mode? That is true. Now, it depends on how you lose it. Now, there's some people who it's not even so much just about starvation. If you're starving yourself and you lose weight very quickly, yes, your body will say, try to stop it. Our brain is designed to keep us alive. And there's a few things that will make us not be alive. One of them is being eaten by a bigger animal. So that's why our fight or flight reaction is so well honed. The other is to stop us from dying from dehydration or starvation. So our thirst mechanism is very strong. And then our brain slows down our metabolism if it thinks we're not getting enough calories so that we don't need as many calories to stay alive. So when you lose weight slowly, what that does, a couple things. Your brain never gets the message you're losing weight, so never tries to stop it. The other thing is um, psychologically for the person, your self image doesn't change so rapidly that it's jarring, not only to you but also to other people around you. So psychologically, it's more protective when you lose weight slowly. And then when you lose weight quickly, too quickly, something is working in extreme. Some part of your body is is not working in conjunction with something else. It's going overboard. And when that happens, something else is going to be affected. So when you lose weight very rapidly, what that means is your fat cells are being reduced very rapidly. And so what that also means is the byproducts of fat breakdown are now having to be eliminated from your body. How are they eliminated? They're eliminated through your kidneys, which can only handle so much, or it gets broken down to water and carbon dioxide. So you breathe it out, but then your body has water, which your kidneys now need to get rid of. So when you lose weight rapidly, suddenly you put your lungs in hyperdrive and your kidneys get overworked. And not to mention the hormonal surge that happens when your fat cells get broken down because suddenly estrogen, you know, either not a bioidentical, but basically estrogen hormones that act like estrogen in our body suddenly gets released. And for some of us, that's okay if we're low in estrogen. For others, not so much. Um, and, because there are some cancers that are estrogen sensitive. So, everything done slowly because if our body naturally does things in a way that is most natural and healthy for it. So if you're doing something extreme that makes our body do something extreme, then it can't be a healthy process. So, um, so thank you for your question. That was actually a very good question. So if you have questions, you can put them after this video. I generally see the ones on YouTube more readily. For some reason, the notifications on Facebook aren't as easy for me to see. The ones on YouTube are. So if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/ at Dr. Toomer, DrToomer, or if you subscribe to Black Doctor Org on YouTube as well or on Facebook, then that's another place where you can find me and find my information. So, but yes, subscribing to my YouTube channel is probably the best way to get my information and get access to me for questions because I do see those quite readily. All right. Well, if there's not any more questions, you're welcome, Karen. If there's not any more questions, I will see you next week when really I've been getting some questions about weight loss and intimacy. So that's what I'll probably talk about next week, unless something else strikes me and, you know, gives me some uh I guess some inspiration. But yes, I have been getting questions about weight loss and intimacy, so I will be talking about that. And it's also very important because we also talk about um, menopause because they kind of go hand in hand in a lot of ways. Um, okay, so Yolanda's asked, is it better to start walking every day when you start Manjaro or wait a few weeks? So this is my thing. It really just depends on your reaction to the medication. However, that's a question for your physician. Mainly what's important is that muscle is very important. If you're walking will do a couple of things. It keeps your muscles active, it keeps you moving, but it gets you outside and it gets you enjoying the weather. It's actually more mind um, beneficial. And so moving, especially after eating, is also very good. So it's not about the medication, it's really about your level of conditioning. So if it's something you can do easily and it's something that helps you relax and it's something that gets you outside, then of course you can do that whether you're on Manjaro or not. But the most important part of being on the medication is what making sure you optimize your protein so you don't lose muscle. And then when you start exercising to do muscle work. Um, Jennifer says, thank you for the coming topic. Just starting HRT and trying, yes, to restart romance. I understand. So, Valisi, so I will, in fact, I may, if I can, there might be someone I can get to come on as a guest who is actually an expert in these things. So, but if not, I may be being ambitious. We'll see. So, but I will talk about talk about that. And I will start also having some guests that I can interview. So if there's any topic or any expert that you want, please let me know. I really, really do see my comments. I do respond to them. So, you know, don't hide. All right. Well, if there's no more questions and no more comments, I'll let y'all go. And I will see you next week in Dr. Toomer Talks. And thank you for coming.